Before my big trip to England, I found this cool YouTube channel done by a guy named Joolz. Among other things, he has all these games he does as he travels around London. In one game, he gives points for all the stuff you see while you are traveling. In this game, you earn points by finding things unique to England. Like, did you know? There are 6 different types of mailboxes, and there are 2 different versions of those weird red phone booths, one having been installed before the war and the other after. That sounds like my kind of quest. When I first got to London, I joined a tour by a different YouTube channel, this one called The History Guy. Together, we toured central London, exploring all the notable spots. That's where I found an Elizabeth II mailbox. Supposedly, it is the easiest one to find, given she was the last queen, and she was queen for so long. Anyway, as the story goes, each king or queen gets to put their initials on every mailbox that is installed while they are in charge. Now, since the current king, King Charles, has only been king for little more than a year, there aren't any for him yet. And since they only started this with Queen Victoria, who was queen just over 150 years ago, there can't be that many. After Victoria, we get her son, Edward VII, who she called Bertie. Then he had a son who became George V. After him, we got Edward VIII. But he just turned around and quit. His brother then had to take over. He became George VII. And George was Elizabeth's father. So that makes 6 in all. Joolz also gives points for way-out signs. Way-out signs aren't hard. They are basically like our exit signs. They are everywhere, but you only get 1 point each. Then there are all these blue signs. They tell of historical events that happened at that location. You get 3 points for every one of these you find. But I decided to set my sights on finding all the mailboxes. My goal was to find them all. While I was still in the heart of London, I found both an Elizabeth II and an Edward VII mailbox. After London, I went to the Black Country Museum, which is a theme park devoted to reenacting life as it was in the 1800s. This place is purposely frozen in time, and parts of it are designed to show what life was like 200 years ago. It was here that I found a Queen Victoria mailbox, carefully preserved. While I was there, I got to ride a canal boat, which is how they moved things around the country before they had trains. In Manchester, I found another mailbox. It was George VI. Each new discovery made it feel more like a treasure hunt, and this was one of the final pieces to my puzzle. So at this point, I had all but one, Edward VIII, and any of his mailboxes were nowhere to be seen. I looked it up. Since he was king for such a short time, there are only a few in the whole country. So, back to Joolz's game, I get 50 points each for 5 mailboxes. I stopped counting way-out signs at 36. I got both of the telephone booths, 2 cabbie huts, and 23 of the blue signs. But wait, there's more. When I got to Liverpool, I discovered something truly amazing, one of the first mailboxes ever made. This one was made before they started putting Victoria's royal moniker on them. This wasn't considered in Joolz's point system, so I give me 100 extra points. Anyway, that's the story of my mailbox quest. You may not think mailboxes are that important, but at least for me, I learned a lot about history, I explored new places, and I had an adventure I will never forget. So next time you go on a trip, create your own quest and see what treasures you find.